Hey, today I'm talking about the top 5 foods and the best meal to heal diabetes. Diabetes is an epidemic. It's when we have high blood sugar and high insulin levels. When we're diabetic, it increases our risk of dying of heart disease, cancer, fatty liver disease, as well as neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and dementia, kidney failure. I mean, literally all chronic disease goes up. Why is that? Because high blood sugar creates these sticky proteins, and they're called glycated proteins in our bloodstream, and they act like shrapnel going through our bloodstream, damaging the blood vessels, causing scarring, and restricting blood flow and oxygen from getting to the cells of the body. Diabetes and insulin resistance are very serious conditions, but we can heal these naturally with foods. In fact, I've seen people with diabetes actually stabilize their blood sugar and lower their insulin significantly and come off medications in as little as 7 days with diet and lifestyle changes. So what are the top 5 foods? Number 1 is protein foods, high protein foods. This is what you should be thinking with every single meal. Let's focus on high protein foods. That's gonna be coming from, ideally grass-fed red meat, grass-fed beef, bison, lamb, right? Things like that. Also, you can do poultry, you can do wild-caught fish, shellfish, right? Those are gonna be our primary protein foods. Protein stabilizes our blood sugar and it stabilizes our insulin levels. It gets rid of cravings. It gives us satiety, natural satiety, so we don't end up overeating. And also we're able to go longer periods of time without food when we prioritize protein. I recommend getting 30 to 50 grams of protein in every meal. So every meal you have should have at least 30 grams of protein. So what does that look like? When it comes to chicken, you're looking at roughly about 8 grams of protein per ounce. So you're looking at least 4 ounces of chicken in a meal. If it's steak, you're looking at about 7 grams of protein per ounce. So you really need roughly 5 ounces or more of steak in a meal. So again, you want to get at least 30 grams of protein per meal. That's going to stabilize your blood sugar. You also want to get healthy fats. It's going to be the number 2 food is healthy fats. That's going to come from a lot of your protein foods have fats, like steak would have fats. However, chicken, for example, chicken breast is low fat, so you want to add in more healthy fats. It's going to come from things like extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter, avocados, pasture-raised eggs. Those are all good sources of healthy fats. Beef tallow. So if you're cooking up chicken breast, you can cook it in something like coconut oil or beef tallow or grass-fed butter, and that will add in healthy fats right in there. So we want to prioritize good healthy fats that are full of fat-soluble nutrients and also that are primarily saturated or monounsaturated. That means that they have more stability under heat and they have higher oxidative stability, so they're less likely to combust and cause inflammation in the body. What we want to avoid are seed oils. That's going to be things like corn oil, soybean, safflower, cottonseed, peanut oil, canola oil. We want to avoid those. They're highly reactive in the body. They drive up oxidative stress and inflammation. They poison our mitochondria and poison our ability to burn fat for fuel. So get rid of the seed oils, stick with the good fats like I talked about, grass-fed butter, beef tallow, as well as olive oil, avocados. Those are all good fat sources. Coconut oil, good fat source. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be colorful fruits and vegetables. Colorful fruits and vegetables. So making sure we get a lot of colors in our diet. Those colorful fruits and vegetables provide fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar, but they also provide phytonutrients, which help support the gut microbiome and help support the mitochondria so we can burn fat for fuel. Ultimately, if you have diabetes, that means you have poison, damaged mitochondria. We need to get rid of the bad mitochondria. We need to form new healthy mitochondria, and we need a lot of good healthy mitochondria in the cells to burn fat for fuel and to stabilize our blood sugar. Polyphenols and different antioxidant compounds in these colorful fruits and vegetables trigger something called mitophagy, where we break down old damaged mitochondria in the cells, and they also stimulate something called mitochondrial biogenesis, where we form new, healthy, stress-resilient mitochondria. And the amount of healthy, stress-resilient mitochondria, when we have a high number per cell of healthy, stress-resilient mitochondria, that allows us to burn fat for fuel more effectively, stabilize blood sugar, keep insulin down, have great metabolic health. So ultimately, when somebody has diabetes or insulin resistance, I'm thinking we've got to get rid of the damaged senescent mitochondria and rebuild new healthy mitochondria. Colorful fruits and vegetables really help with that. Also, number 4 food is coffee, right? You may be happy to hear that. Coffee has been shown to stimulate mitophagy, the breakdown of old damaged mitochondria and the formation of new, and mitochondrial biogenesis, the formation of new healthy mitochondria. And so creating a lot of stress-resilient mitochondria. There's a couple compounds in coffee, caffeic acid as well as chlorogenic acid, that are associated with those great mitochondrial benefits. And a 2018 meta-analysis actually looked at a whole large group of individuals, and they found that people that actually increased during a 4-year span, increased their coffee consumption by 1 cup a day, had a 11% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And in that same study, the people that reduced their coffee consumption by 1 or more cups a day actually had a 17% greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes within a 4-year span. So actually increasing their coffee consumption seemed to decrease their levels of, or their blood sugar, and improve their insulin sensitivity. And again, that's because of the compounds, the polyphenols, chlorogenic acid, caffeic acid, improving mitochondrial function. We get that in the coffee. So coffee can be a great thing that you can add in. Now, some people don't metabolize coffee well. If you don't feel good when you're drinking coffee, it's okay. You can avoid that. You can drink green tea. You can drink ginger tea, actually, is a really good one. Turmeric tea. There's lots of different herbal teas out there that will support healthy blood sugar levels that you can consume and enjoy. You don't even have to consume that. You can do lemon water, for example, and that can be of great benefit. Now, the 5th thing I want to talk about is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is one of the most powerful things for stabilizing your blood sugar and your insulin levels. In fact, there was a 2025 study in the Frontiers of Nutrition, and what they looked at was hemoglobin A1C and blood sugar levels, and they showed that for every 1 milliliter increase in apple cider vinegar, the individuals had lower levels of hemoglobin A1C as well as fasting glucose, meaning that their glucose levels were going down. The amount of glycation to those blood cells was going down. There was another study, 2024 study out of BMJ, British Medical Journal, where they looked at 120 Lebanese teenagers that were all overweight and had issues with their blood sugar and insulin levels. And what they found was that individuals that were consuming anywhere from 1/3 of a tablespoon up to 1 full tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day saw the best increases, right? They were seeing improvements in their overall BMI, their waist to hip ratios, meaning that they were losing weight, they had better blood sugar levels, and the people that were taking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day had better results than the people that were taking 1/3 of a tablespoon, which that means they're getting more acetic acid. That's the main postbiotic compound that's in apple cider vinegar, and acetic acid strengthens mitochondrial function. It actually helps stimulate mitochondrial mitophagy, so the breakdown of old damaged mitochondria, as well as mitochondrial biogenesis, the formation of new healthy mitochondria. So utilizing apple cider vinegar, a great way to stabilize your blood sugar and reduce your risk of developing diabetes or heal naturally from diabetes. Taking 1 tablespoon twice a day is what I recommend for somebody that's looking to do that. You could take it with meals, you could take it before dinner. If you want, just always make sure you're washing your mouth out after the apple cider vinegar, and always take it diluted, right? So take a tablespoon and let's say 4 ounces of water. You don't want to take it straight up, too acidic. It's going to damage your teeth, it's going to damage your esophageal lining. But diluted, 1 tablespoon and 4 ounces of water, and then taking that, at different times of the day. Right before meals is a great idea, or you can take it, for example, before you go to bed. Just make sure you're washing your mouth out afterwards. Now, what is the best meal, right? Well, ideally with diabetes, you can do something like 2 or 3 meals a day in a tight, what we call time-restricted feeding window, maybe a 6 to 8 hour eating window, and you're fasting outside of that. So what I like to do is something like, let's say, a good chicken salad or a chicken veggie omelet. So you take 3 eggs, which is going to give you roughly about 18 grams of protein, about 6 grams of protein per egg, okay? And then you go ahead and you add in 2 to 4 ounces of chicken. So 2 to 4 ounces of chicken is going to give you 16 to 32 grams of added protein. So now you're in your 30 to 50 gram range, Okay, you can also add in veggies, things like bell peppers, parsley, mushrooms, onions, things like that will add flavor and phytonutrients. You're gonna cook those eggs in beef tallow or grass-fed butter. Most people prefer butter, it has great flavor to it, but beef tallow is also really, really good, so you can cook it in that. If you don't have that, you can use coconut oil as well. Coconut oil is a good cooking oil that you can use too. So you're gonna cook that in that, and then you're gonna enjoy that great meal. So that's a great blood sugar stabilizing meal, full of nutrition, full of B vitamins and different nutrients, high quality protein, healthy fats. It's gonna be really good for you. You can also do something like a chicken or salmon salad with arugula, tomatoes, bell peppers, red onions, black olives that you can add in there. Use extra virgin olive oil as a great salad dressing, and you can squeeze some lemon or lime, add in some salt, maybe some garlic salt. That provides really good flavoring. You can also add in Mediterranean herbs, things like basil, oregano, thyme. They all have unique phytonutrients that help stabilize blood sugar, support gut health, and support immune health. So doing something along those lines is great. Also those Mediterranean herbs, basil, oregano, thyme, rosemary, they all have a great scent to them. The aromatic compounds in them will actually calm your body, stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which will allow you to produce more digestive juices and digest and absorb the nutrients more effectively in that meal. So that's a great approach as well. And then for dinner, have something like a 6 to maybe up to a 12-ounce steak, depending on your appetite. 6-ounce steak is going to give you roughly about 42 grams of protein, right? Which should be enough, but if you're a large man, right, or you're very active, you might need more. Like for me, I can eat a 12-ounce steak for dinner and feel great. So have a really good steak, ideally grass-fed if you're able to get it. Great steak, put some Mediterranean herbs, maybe some garlic on there, some Mediterranean herbs. You can also dice up some bell peppers as well as onions and saute those, right? I like to saute them in butter, and then afterwards I put them in a bowl, okay, and I put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil has polyphenols, right? Particularly things like oleocanthols that are really powerful for stabilizing blood sugar, helping your body get rid of visceral fat, and reducing inflammation in your system. So I like to put a little bit of olive oil on there, make sure that I've got some salt. Garlic salt is really good, and Mediterranean herbs in there, and sometimes I'll throw some fresh parsley on it. And that's a great meal. So good steak with some sauteed veggies, like again, bell peppers with onions, maybe some mushrooms if you like that. Throw in a little parsley on the top, and that's a great, great meal. Or you could have a side salad with it, and that's a great meal. Of course, we talked about coffee, so drinking coffee, maybe a cup in the morning, maybe a cup around midday. You want to cut off your caffeine roughly 6 to 8 hours before you go to bed, depending on the individual. Some people are very fast caffeine metabolizers, and they're able to drink coffee in the evening and still sleep well at night. I don't know how they do it, because I'm not a fast caffeine metabolizer. I've got to cut off caffeine by, let's say, 2:30 p.m. Otherwise, it's going to affect me at night, and that's really where most people are. You want to cut it off ideally within 8 hours of going to bed. So maybe a morning cup of coffee, maybe a midday, and that can help you with the caffeine, which enhances brain function. BDNF drives up BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic growth factor in your brain, helps with neuronal circuitry, and helps you have better connectivity in your brain. Also great metabolic benefits like we talked about for blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, but you don't get, in a sense, the negative effects of the caffeine causing more anxiety and trouble sleeping. So that would be the goal there, utilizing the coffee. Apple cider vinegar, you just take a tablespoon in water before the meals that you're consuming. And that's how you're gonna consume a meal, right? That's gonna stabilize your blood sugar, or really a day of meals, your best meals to stabilize your blood sugar and heal diabetes. And if you follow a plan like this and add in movement, making sure you're getting out, you're walking every day, getting at least 10,000 steps, doing some resistance training to build muscle tissue that will pull the sugar out of your bloodstream, like a glucose sponge. That's what muscle does. It helps hold on to the glucose. That will bring your insulin levels down. And you can literally heal diabetes in as little as 7 days if you're following these kind of principles and strategies. So hopefully, guys, you got a lot of value out of this. Be sure to check out drjockers.com, the #1 health resource for everything you need when it comes to a natural health perspective. And of course, share this video with anybody that you know and that you care about. Be blessed.